today we would like to talk about preparation before become a parent. And something very important is to start to talk with your partner about what ideas they have raising a kid and how they were rising, because the way you was raised is going to influence so much when you become a mom or a dad. You are going to unconsciously bring so many things of your past, the way you was growing, your feelings or your traumas or whatever, Sometimes we have difficulties, they become to the past. We are okay, we don't have anything to do with that little things that happened a long time ago, but they are going to come. I always say that having a child, it's a way of rewrite your story. So you need to talk about financials, how are going to deal with all the expenses that come with a baby. Do you have some support? You don't have support? Who is going to take this responsibility? Who is going to take the other one? Start to talk about, and also prepare yourself emotionally. Because when the baby is coming and the baby is crying, you are going to feel a volcano of emotions. So many things are going to happen. And you are tired. Start to think about how these first days are going to be and about the decisions you need to make. Do you want to have this baby at hospital? Do you prefer to have this baby at home? Do you prefer to have a doula with you? You prefer to go for a cesarean? There's so many things you need to decide. And it's nice to have this preparation. It's nice to have a good diet before you become pregnant. It's good to have a good rest before you will have a child. There are so many things that maybe we don't think before, and we start to think about these things when we are pregnant and the baby was coming. And most of the preparation is about medical stuff for the baby or stuff everyone is giving to you. Having a child is more than all this crib and nice stroller and all the things that, the clothes and the sweet little shoes. There's so much more. A parenting program is also for couples or people who start to think in one day become a parent. You don't need to be a parent to take a parenting program. There's so much information. You can work ahead. I would love to have all this information before I become a mom. I become a mom and I start to read and trying to discover what was the best way to raise my kids. But I didn't have all this previous preparation. And if I could do something different, I will go for a parent program and have all these things that I learned later on. I don't know, what do you think?
I agree with everything that you're saying. A lot of parents, they do not prepare and they just pop up and they're like, oh my God, I did not want a baby. What am I going to do? This and that. They stress. A lot of parents want to go on Google and they get all this information and it's contradictory. And so it's like more and more and more and more and more information, the more confused you're going to be, because some mothers, they have morning sickness and some mothers, they don't. As Carolina was saying, the finances, we invest so much into other children that we do not invest into ourselves. Say, for instance, you find out you're pregnant. That's when you need to sit down and you need to breathe. A lot of parents want to buy a whole bunch of toys for their children, and then the child wants to play with your cell phone. That's all they want to do is play with your cell phone. They want to do the things that you're doing. So when we prepare to have a child, we need to think about self-care first. We need to think about my husband. There's a lot of multicultural, like Carolina was saying, multicultural. And we're going to say, okay, so when I have this baby, I don't want this baby to be spanked like I was spanked. The father's like, the baby's going to do what I say, and the baby's going to do it because I said so. That's when we need to start thinking about either therapy or we need to get a parenting coach to feel out these different emotions that we're going through. You know, the fathers, they need to have patience. You know, a lot of fathers don't have patience. We need to talk about, are we going to let the baby sleep with us, or are we going to let the baby have their own space? But whatever you come up with, you're going to have to live with that. The second baby is going to be a little easier because you know what to expect. Oh my goodness, I got postpartum depression. That is a real thing, Carolina. Don't you think postpartum depression is something that most mothers have and don't realize it? And that's why they put so much pressure on themselves. Can you express a little bit more about postpartum depression?
Yes, I would like to mention that even if we plan and prepare and talk, there are so many things that are going to come out of the blue, things that we don't plan. You know, maybe we're planning for a birth at home and the baby is coming really earlier. You was planning to do a lot of things and you feel depressed. And this is so common, and the moms sometimes feel guilty and think that they don't love their kids, but there are hormones, so many hormones coming in, and now there's so many things that can happen. And maybe the baby need to have some intensive care for the first days, or, you know, there's so many things we cannot plan. So if at least you was prepared for some things, it's going to be much better. You are going to feel much more in control. And even when these unexpected things happen, you need support. You need to take care of yourself. You need a support net with friends or family or professionals who help you to understand that this is common, this is understandable, this is, you know, something that happens. And you need to find your peers or people who cheer you up and get with you and listen to you, you know, and stay with you, because there's nothing wrong. There are things that happen and we need to deal with that. We cannot pretend that nothing is happening, and we cannot feel that it's the end of the world. We need support. It's everything parents need: information, support, orientation, someone who hold your feelings, hold what's happening, and help you to get through and navigate that situation.
I want
So
to say one thing, Carolina. I have always was taught when you have all this information, it is very confusing, but take what's important and leave the rest. Take what you need and leave the rest, because you're going to get so much from grandparents and uncles and aunts, and everybody's going to bombard you, because especially if this is the first baby born. And so you need to step back, you need to meditate, and you always need to let go and just vibe. Thank you so
you said
much.
something very, very important. You know, find the people who's making you feel better. Find people who can support your feelings and understand what's happening with you without judgment. And in that way, you're going to feel much, much better. I would like to say it in Spanish. Estuvimos hablando sobre lo que pasa antes de tener un bebé, toda la preparación que hay que hacer, la preparación financiera, emocional, la preparación de las actividades, quién va a hacer cada cosa en la casa, y toda la red de apoyo que todos los padres necesitamos, especialmente con nuestro primer hijo, porque es un mundo totalmente desconocido. Y si quieren saber más, síganos en YouTube, en TikTok, en Instagram y en Facebook.